Start recording. Hey friends. So it's been a while since I've recorded my last video and published it, and there's a bunch of reasons for that. Uh, where do I start? So what happened was that I was approaching a deadline for one of my ebooks, my second ebook, which is called Introspect, and so I had the ebook on my mind, so I had writing to do, and I wasn't even doing it actually, but I was anxious about it. And while I was feeling anxious about my ebook, I didn't feel like I was comfortable making videos at the same time. And I have this new setup where I have to have my camera and my mic, and then I have to record the video from the camera and then the audio from the mic. And it's just something about that additional complexity in that process just made me feel less comfortable making these videos. And I think I was also just kind of getting a bit tired. It's interesting how all these things kind of come together, and there are all these explanations that are tempting, that seem correct but might not be the whole picture. And I'm not doing great. I have been feeling kind of burdened by my own obligations, which I am personally entirely responsible for coming up with. By which to say, it's my plan, it's my projects that I came up with, my ideas, my goals, and I just started to get very tired and very overwhelmed, and I didn't feel like working on any of it. And I at the same time, like, while I say I'm not doing great, I'm talking about this very narrow context of how I'm thinking about my creative work. And if I zoom out and see the big picture, I'm still blessed. I don't I'm in a place where I don't need to have a job that I don't want. Financially I'm doing all right. I'm not living in luxury, and I've been in a kind of stasis. So I make my money selling ebooks and doing consulting work. And so if I needed more money, which I don't currently, but if I needed it, I would do more consulting work, and I would be a bit more aggressive about marketing my ebooks. So I have Friendly Ambitious Nerd, which is my first ebook, and it's version 1.0. And then I want to ship an update. I want to, I'm kind of happy with it, but I'm not satisfied with it. I feel like it can be a lot better. But my taste is up here and my skill is down here, and so I have to kind of do a lot of work to get my skill up to meeting my taste for what I think is good work. And so, I haven't done a lot of marketing for Friendly Ambitious Nerd, and I had this kind of this schedule in mind for publishing a new ebook every 3 months. I have this whole timeline and all these ideas for what the next ebook and the next ebook would be. I got an ebook about optics, I got an ebook about high voltage living, I have an ebook called Unlearning Coercion, and I'm working on all of those things as well. And I am experiencing this very funny tension. And it's funny because it's entirely self created, right? So back when I used to have a job and I had, kind of career obligations, or like obligations to my colleagues, for example, I would have this excuse, right? Which is that the reason I'm kind of frustrated and unhappy is that I have to keep up at work, and then when I'm done with work, I got to come home. And even the phrase "I got to" is it's a tell, right? It reveals something. But I'll just say "I got to" because that's what my natural language is right now. And I used to think I gotta work at work, and then I gotta come home, and then I gotta work on my personal projects, my writing projects, which I did. And it was a lot. It was a lot to do, and I'm very proud of my younger self for doing that, because it's not easy. And I live a life of my own choosing to some degree because of the sacrifice that my younger self made. Was it a sacrifice? And the decisions that I made, right? It would have been easier to come home from work and just watch TV, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But like, I had a vision for myself as a creative, that I wanted to be doing creative work, And that, yeah, I did. And so I have, I have my Twitter followers. Now I have a YouTube account. I have my YouTube subscribers. And that feels great. And so somewhere along the way, I have been, so this is going to be my 78th ad lib video that I'm publishing this year as part of my make 100 videos in a year project. And so within that frame of my goal is to make 100 videos, I am doing pretty good. I'm getting by. I'm gonna finish it before the end of the year, and so it would be like mission accomplished. I'm pretty confident that's gonna happen, right? And there was a period of time where I was uploading a video every single day. Sometimes I would be recording 2 or 3 videos in one day, and then I would schedule to publish the video the next day, and that was a very cool experience. But evidently, I don't think that's something that I can sustain indefinitely. How much can I sustain it? That's something that I'm grappling with, and it's that question is a narrow version of a broader question that I have grappled with my whole life, which is kind of how much am I capable of really? How much can I really do? And I think one way I could frame it for myself is that I can only really do about 4 hours of productive work in any given day, and that's optimistic. Like, if I don't think I've ever really had 4 solid hours of really good productivity that is me working on the most important task of the day. I don't think I've ever done that. It's always, I have really been getting by all my life from snatches of stuff that I've done, kind of by accident. And what I'm lucky that I have been able to manage my accidents as well as I have. And, I could probably continue doing this for the rest of my life, and I would, I'd make a living, right? I wouldn't starve, and I'd be doing stuff that I like. But still, there is dissatisfaction. I feel like I could be more, I could do more, I could be better, greater in some way, right? And help more people, which is, like, if it's just about me and it's just me kind of indulging myself, I think that's pretty easy to rationalize and live with. But, so for example, one of the things that I'm framing for myself now is that I want to renovate my kitchen, which is, it's my house that I live in, this house, right? It's not in great condition. So my wife and I bought it in 2013 when we were both really broke and we couldn't afford to renovate anything. So everything's kind of in a really, it's livable, but it's kind of sloppy, like structurally sloppy. Like, so in the kitchen, we don't even have cabinets or shelves in the kitchen. It's all over the place. And, we have been getting by, but just cooking is not fun. Doing the dishes is not fun. And I mean, it's unpleasant to do those things. And we just kind of live with it. And I know that I could make my wife happier and I could make myself happier and enjoy my living conditions more, enjoy preparing meals more, right? And I would feel more comfortable inviting friends over for meals and stuff like that if I renovated my kitchen. And that would cost money. And to do that, I would have to be more productive, right? And I am not a fan generally of trying to be more productive. I wouldn't describe myself as a productivity nerd or geek, or because I find that so much of my best productivity seems to happen by accident. And you can kind of optimize for accidents. You take more random walks, you do more random things, you kind of cultivate your mind, right? Like, chance favors the prepared mind, right? So you prepare your mind for chances, right? I know how to do that. And yet, despite all of that, the past month or so of my life has been characterized, I would say the dominant emotion has been a kind of low grade, is despair too strong a word to use? And I mean, it's a lighter version of what I used to experience at work, and that's what's kind of making me a bit tense, a bit wary, a bit frustrated. But now that I'm saying this, it also makes me a bit excited, because this is kind of, in the idea of the obstacle is the way. It is the thing that's keeping me from living a more fulfilling life, in a sense. And it's not that fulfillment is somewhere out there, but it's the process, the way in which I conduct myself, I think there is a way for me to live day to day with my obligations, with my challenges, that it doesn't involve me hiding away from my obligations, which in this case, so it used to be I'm obliged to go to school, which I don't even want to go to, but I have no choice in the matter. And then when I got married and got a job and got a mortgage, I had to go to work, which I enjoyed my colleagues, I enjoyed my job, I enjoyed the as much as a job can be enjoyed to some degree, right? So I'm figuring these things out. It's I didn't prepare for this video, so I don't have like a super nice structure, but I really just want to take some time to make a video, and so here I am anyway. It's like I definitely have gotten better at it, I think, but it's still not, and I don't expect life to become like a super pleasant bed of roses, but I do think that I have tension in my shoulders that is self-created from my own stress that isn't helping me at all, and so I'm trying to unlearn that. And I guess I wanted to make this video today while I am in this headspace because I was tweeting about it earlier, and it resonated with some people. This experience of actually, let me read out the tweets. My computer just went to sleep. I said that I had a come to Jesus moment, and it isn't the first time that I've had this experience. I've had it before. Experiencing a sort of come to Jesus moment where I realized that I subject myself to the pain that I thought the world was subjecting me to. This sounds vaguely profound in the abstract, but it's actually about deadlines and a sense of dread regarding my obligations. I could probably find some sort of way to blame capitalism for this, but if I extrapolate from what I've learned about myself from my own experience, the truth is that I'll find a way to torture myself in this arena even if I were 100% financially independent. I have multiple overdue deadlines that I entirely set for myself. So making videos is one of these things, right? Overdue deadlines that I have set for myself. And all I want to do is go off on random tangents to explore random fun things. I don't even have a boss to get mad at, and my wife is supportive of my nonsense. So truly it boils down to a game of me versus me. And a bunch of people replied, a bunch of cool stuff. And someone said, how do I find it? Someone said, I see it as an underbelly of productivity culture. The downside of having objective metrics is that you can fail. And if the goal is to explore and have fun, is that desirable? And I said, this is a helpful reply. I feel like I'm broadly pretty skillful at avoiding the first order boogeyman. But like there's a second order challenge with regards to the project management of substantial art and fun. Right, so I have successfully designed a life for myself where everything I do is stuff that I want to do. Like, so that it used to be this. There's stuff I want to do, and there's stuff I have to do, and I have successfully stuff that I have to do that I didn't really choose or didn't have much control over, and it's kind of obligations that were almost thrust onto me in some way. Like it's all relative and it's all semi-subjective, but as I kind of refine my life, as I design it better and better, I get to so I eliminate a lot of the stuff that I had to do that I didn't choose, and now it's I have to, if I wanted to take a year off to do nothing, I could. I have the savings to do that, and I have the savings to do that because my younger self worked very hard and spent very little so that I could have this freedom now. But I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that because I feel like I have a window of opportunity to do what I'm currently doing, and you don't get any younger. So maybe my real gripe is not with capitalism, but with like the finiteness of life and entropy, right? And just anyway. So second order problems. So everything I'm doing is kind of trying to have fun, trying to make substantial projects. I have a whole bunch of projects, right? And I made a whole separate video about project management, which I should probably watch and revisit to see if there's things I should follow up on. But yeah, so I have this broad set of projects that I'm working on, and I guess I'm not prioritizing. So there's the tasks that are the most important, and I get to choose what's most important, and I get to renegotiate them and change them, and I almost have a bit too much freedom, maybe. Right? Maybe if my deadline was external rather than internal, I wouldn't be able to kick the can down the road, and so I would be screaming and pulling my hair out, but like for a shorter period of time, and then I have no choice but to ship it. But since I have a choice, I get to kick the can down the road, and then that anxiety just kind of spreads to fill the container that it's in, right? There's this law. I can't remember if it's what the specific name of it, but it's basically the time taken to complete a task will expand to fit the container, the amount of time that you have, right? And yeah, I think that's kind of the problem. And another thing is kind of the longer you go without doing something, the longer you will go without doing it. So that's part of why I'm making this video, because the longer I go without making a video, the longer I will go without making a video. And I want to be making videos, so I'm making one, even if it's not perfect. Yeah, I know that these things won't be perfect. So why the delay? It's funny. It's like being hijacked by old ways of thinking, old habits of mine. And I'm gonna talk for a couple more minutes, maybe, and like until 20 minutes. It's like 16 minutes now. I'll talk until 20 minutes, and then I'll upload this, and I guess I'll work on my ebook a little bit. And yeah, it's funny, maybe sometimes you just need to say these things out loud. I think a thing that I wanted to say in this video that I haven't said yet is that at some level, just making these videos, even to a small-ish audience, and even in this unpolished format, some part of me feels like I've accumulated some kind of a position, a kind of like I am the lecturer and I'm lecturing, right? And you don't really expect a lecturer to go to class and say, hey guys, I'm all out of ideas today, right? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't feel too excited about what I'm doing, and I'm kind of bummed out. And what's up, But yeah, if you don't do that in some way, if you don't talk about it to someone, then it wears you down in some way, and like, yeah, it manifests as muscular tension even in the body, and it creates an unpleasant experience, and it will kind of get away from you somehow. I mean, by get away, I mean it will come through, right? Like if you're a nourishing, happy presence, then that will come through, and if you're stressed and upset and annoyed in some way, that will come through too. So that's where I'm at. And I guess saying these things out loud, maybe I just had to say these things out loud. I don't know. It's an ongoing process. I have made progress, which is gratifying. I do wish the progress was faster, but that has always been the case. Do I realistically think that my progress has been less than what's the like here? So when I say less than what? Less than optimal, less than perfect, less than desirable. You can kind of run through the adjectives, run through the descriptors. Obviously less than perfect. Nobody's perfect, right? Obviously less than ideal. Sure, ideals are idealistic. Less than what? Less than what I could be doing. I don't doubt myself. I don't doubt my intent. I don't doubt my love for the projects that I'm working on. I do want to publish my ebooks. I do think that they will make a difference to people, because they are, assemblages of conversations that I've had with people who found those conversations helpful. So it's not like I am making stuff up, right? It's not like I honestly don't believe that it's some kind of fake prestige goal. Is it? I don't think so. I don't think that I acknowledge that is a problem that can exist, and I think I may have dealt with before. I do think that a part of me is afraid to ship something that, again, doesn't live up to my standards and will make me look bad to some people. But I also know that, again, when I say these things out loud, I also know that even on my bad days, my standards are higher than at least 70 to 80% of my audience, I would think, right? Like, so some people will look at, and I can kind of work backwards from my previous book, right? So I'm kind of impressed that I shipped the first book, because that was really into the unknown, right? Into the unknown. And so this is something that I've kind of done before. So it's interesting. I guess it's like I'm sure there's like a phenomenon for it, right? Like the sophomore squeeze or something. Like the sequel isn't going to be as good as the first, because because I guess previously there's no expectations, and then once you've made magic once, like you have to make it again, and now people are expecting something, and you can't deviate too much, but you can't I mean, you got to make it fresh, but it can't be, people have some expectations of some similarities. But yeah, as I say these things, I don't think that's my problem anyway. So what am I doing? I'm just stressing myself out. I'm not sure why. I can try and come up with explanations, but I'm not sure those explanations are correct. And so I think maybe the thing is just to state my feelings. There's this quote from Jason Mraz in one of his Reddit AMAs. Somebody asked him, "What do you do when you feel melancholic or depressed?" And he said, I remember the word melancholy. And then he said, "I look at myself and I say, shit, I'm melancholy." And then I go about my day. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that's maybe that's all we need. Maybe we just need to put a name to the feelings that we're having and to acknowledge them, right? It's what we said. It's like it's understood to be kind of good parenting principle, right? Like if the child is distressed, you say, "You seem distressed. Are you distressed?" And the child's like, "Yeah, I'm distressed." Children don't actually say that, but like yeah, maybe just and I feel like there's something similar in the inner game of tennis work, right? That inner game idea where you get very far apparently just by acknowledging an emotion, right? Acknowledging a state. And one of my most recent videos was about feeling your feelings, right? So yeah, I have to feel my feelings. And when I do that, I can take deeper breaths and relax in some way, come face to face with my situation, accept it, imagine the worst case scenario, realize that even that's not that bad. And yeah, I said I wasn't doing great. I think I'm doing better already in the context of one video. And yeah, I'm gonna ship this. Maybe some people will think, what the fuck did I just sit through this 20 minutes of this guy talking, going nowhere? That's fine. That's on you. It's I'm not responsible for how you feel, right? Like you don't have to be watching this. You could be watching anything you want. That's the way it goes. And let's just end this here. Done. Thanks for hanging out, and let me know anything you want to know in the comments, and let's chat. Done.